One of the things about being a human is that we have the capacity for self-reflection. We actually have a relationship with ourselves. In fact, most of us, if we stop to think, have an ongoing dialogue in our own minds, commenting on what's happening to us and the things that we do. For many years, my inner dialogue was decidedly negative. I was very self-critical, very judgy toward myself. In fact, if you listened into my thinking after I did or said something that I thought was not exactly in line with what I wished, I would say something to myself like, "What were you thinking? That was so stupid. You're such an idiot." I'm not kidding. And it got worse. I said some pretty nasty things in my own head. One day, I felt like God tapped me on the shoulder, got my attention by saying something like, "Why do you talk to yourself that way? You wouldn't talk to anyone else that way." I reflected for a moment and said, "But I'm my own person. I would not talk to that person that way because they belong to themselves. I'm mine." It was as if God said, "Oh, really?" And he took me to 1 Corinthians chapters 6 and 7, which says this, "You are not your own. You've been bought with a price. Therefore glorify God in your body." I thought, so I'm not my own. I don't really belong to me anymore. That's right, I felt like he said. And he reminded me of Galatians 2, verse 20. It says, "I've been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, but not I. Christ lives in me. And the life that I live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me." Wow. So I thought, if I call myself an idiot, does that mean I'm calling Jesus an idiot? Pretty much, I felt like the Lord said to me. And I thought, yeah, that's not good. That day, something really cool happened for me. I realized that my inner criticism of myself was not just a bad habit, it was sin. It was a wrong way to treat myself. Jesus says, in fact, that whatever you do to one of the least of these, my brothers, you do to me. And sometimes the least of these is not out there somewhere. It's in my own skin. I'm one of the least of these brothers. And when I treat myself disrespectfully, discourteously, or harshly, Jesus takes it personally. Pay attention to what goes on in your head. Do you show yourself compassion when you fall down, or are you harsh? Are you considerate and kind, or are you discourteous and rude to yourself? Are you merciful, or are you self-condemning and judgmental? If you're like me, you've got some repenting to do. You've got to take stock of the way you relate to yourself, and more importantly, the way you relate to Jesus in you. The gospel is clear. He died for us so that we could live for him. And the life that we live in the realm of faith is a life unto Jesus. We walk not after the flesh, but after the Spirit. And the law is no longer in control. It's grace, it's mercy. And we have to learn how to show grace and mercy to ourselves. There's an old saying that says, charity begins at home. And if you want to love your neighbor well, you'll need to learn to love yourself well too. God is merciful. He's gracious. He's compassionate. He's forgiving. And he wants us to be like him. You can easily do it out there, but sometimes the challenge is right where you live, being kind, merciful, and compassionate, applying grace at home. God bless you as you seek to love him with your whole heart and let him love you.